up, everybody? I'm KJ Smith here with Joe Tipton, and welcome back to the And One Show with KJ and Joe, presented by On3, your home for exclusive interviews with some of the most talented hoopers in the world, along with reactions to viral basketball news and moments trending on the web.
Today, we'd like to welcome in our first coach on the podcast, Andre Chevalier, better known as Coach Dre, head coach of Sierra Canyon High School. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Coach Dre, since you took over Sierra Canyon in 2017, you were able to win another California championship, making you one of few coaches in the country to do so at two schools. You coached over 15 Division I players and a handful of pros and future pros. What was it like to win that championship with Sierra Canyon and also have so many great players along the way?
It's always tough to win a championship in the open division in California. So, they say your first one is the hardest. And that one was definitely, it was a beast for us to win it. We definitely had some games go down to the wire and, have some wars. So it was difficult, but it was fun. Starting to build a culture at Sierra Canyon, by winning a championship was a great thing. And always when you have great players, it makes you a better coach. And so I've had the privilege of coaching, some very good players, some NBA kids, sons, and just some, talented kids across the board, whether they be 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star. Sorry about that.
No problem. Now, a lot of coaches out here have never played the game, but you have. So you started at Cleveland High School. You had no offers after your 4 years and then ended up at CSUN, being the first in your family to go to college, and then became a Hall of Famer at CSUN. But how did it feel, when you committed? Do you remember how your family reacted? And what was that just like?
It was crazy because, like you said, it went kind of down to the wire. I didn't have any offers until way late, and then it was Fullerton, CSUN, and Long Beach, and I don't even know if Fullerton and Long Beach were very serious. So I just took the first one that was serious and jumped on it. It was CSUN's first year D1. So, that was a crazy situation walking into, that experience where the school didn't really know how to be D1. And so we were their guinea pigs. But it definitely turned out to be a wonderful thing for me and my family, just because, getting that monkey off our back of somebody actually going to college, getting into college, possibly getting a degree. It was a huge deal, especially for my mother. So she really celebrated that. And, most of my family is on the East Coast. So I didn't really get the up close and personal celebration, but definitely a lot of phone calls and excitement about the fact that it was going to happen.
Coach, a lot of people looking at your situation would say that you had a harder route, when approaching the game of basketball due to, your physical challenges. What was your mental and physical approach to the game to fight through adversity?
Oh man, I'm a worker. I just always just try to keep working, try to, put time in to get better. With my hand being what it is, I definitely, had to put in extra time. So at Cleveland High School and at CSUN, I pretty much just lived in the gym. I had a key to the gym at CSUN and would be in early in the morning, late at night, just trying to work when people weren't watching, so that when somebody tried to force me left, which they always did, that I was prepared to be able to handle it. And I had strategies in my game and in my mind to be able to, eliminate, them trying to force me in a direction. But I think, with everything, it's about what your commitment is and how hard you work.
So like you said, with your hand, that challenge of only having 3 fingers and also being partially blind in one eye, you still killed at CSUN. You had a great career, Hall of Famer. To this day, you're still top 6 statistical leaders in all points and assists. After such a great playing career, what led you to coaching?
I actually had no thought of ever coaching because I thought, I would have to deal with people like me and like KJ, who I coached back in the day. So I had no thought of ever being a coach. I went into business. I worked at Warner Brother Records for a bit, and then First Interstate Bank, which got bought out by Wells Fargo. And luckily for me, the manager at my branch was a huge basketball guy, and he saw in the newspaper that the basketball job at my alma mater, Cleveland, was open. And he really encouraged me to interview and get experience. And luckily I got the job, and it changed my life and put me on a trajectory of doing what I was supposed to do in this lifetime.
And see, Coach, we're in an era where people think success just comes overnight. Can you tell us a little bit about your story, about how you started at Cleveland and then ended up at the top of the food chain at Sierra Canyon?
Yeah, I think people look at me now, it was funny because when I got the job at Sierra Canyon, every time we played a playoff game, it said first year coach. And I was laughing like, first year here. But I'm 20 years in, you know what I mean? Like, so people don't really, see the backstory and the work that you had to put in and the grind and, how many years that you didn't do as well as you could have done. When you get to a place where now we're on television and people see our success, but it's always, you got to put the roots in the ground before you start to see the plant or the tree grow. And yeah, man, I put 20 good years in before I got to Sierra Canyon. But prior to that, I had a great time at Oaks Christian where I had an opportunity to coach you and continue to learn the game and expand my ability to be a coach and deal with personalities. But yeah, man, it was it was tough, but in retrospect, it was wonderful because without those experiences, I definitely wouldn't know how to handle Sierra Canyon, the people, the school, the administration. So all of that stuff was great. Cleveland was great for me. I coached Nick Young there, Swaggy P, who played for the Lakers and Golden State and some other teams in the NBA, and had quite a few guys go on to D1. But dealing with the public school kid, and then the LAUSD as a whole was a great learning experience. And then leaving the public sector and moving into the private sector was a great learning experience as well. So the combination of all those things just makes me who I am today, and just prepared me for everything that Sierra Canyon, presents to me and brings to the table.
Coach, what would you say is the most rewarding part of your journey and also being a coach?
It's definitely my opportunity to mentor young men and then to be able to see them go out and become productive citizens in society. To me, it doesn't matter if they're basketball players, if they're doctors, and whatever they turn into, as long as they're productive and doing great things and giving back, that is the most rewarding thing for me as a coach and as a mentor, for sure.
So you talked a little bit about your transition from player to coach. Was there a time when you doubted yourself to be a successful coach, and maybe you thought maybe this isn't the right job, the right thing for me?
I don't think I ever doubted my ability to coach. I played the point position, so I kind of had to know what everybody was doing and, have the mind of a coach because of that. But I think in my lifetime, just because of my hand, I was always trying to prove that I was good enough in some way. And so I just used to think that coaching wasn't enough, right? So I would leave coaching and go become a public speaker, or I created this program called the Village Nation to mentor Black boys, and I was always trying to do something outside of coaching to prove that I was a good enough man and a good enough person and a good enough human being, because I didn't always feel complete because of my hand. But it wasn't until I just really locked into coaching that everything else kind of fell into place. So I was fighting being a coach for a while, or only being a coach. And then as soon as I locked into that, I think my life fell into place, and everything that I was trying to do outside of coaching was locked into coaching for me. And so thank God I got slapped in the face, and somebody put me on the right path so that I can get locked in, because it is what I love to do. It is what I was born to do. So it's cool.
So you guys have a saying now at Sierra Canyon, linked by legacy. Can you elaborate on what that means?
Linked by the legacy for me is just how if we stay connected to being great, we have this thing called elite greatness, where it is like combining your skill, talent, and effort to play hard or work hard all the time. And so those are the things that we try to preach. Is always trying to be great, and do the best that you can. And linked by the legacy is always being connected to your brother. It's always being connected to the school. It is creating a network of the players that come through Sierra Canyon, the administrators, the coaches, that we can always be connected to support and help each other. I think you guys both know, like they say, it's who you know, not what you know. And anytime that there's a network of greatness that can be created, we feel like that it's going to be beneficial to the lives of the people that come through Sierra Canyon, and to their families and friends as well. So that's the legacy that we're trying to build: connectedness and just greatness on a high level all the time.
So for those who don't know, Coach Dre is very hard nosed. He's a very disciplined coach. And like he said, he coached Nick Young. I remember him bringing Nick Young around for his own camps. And I was thinking, like, how big of a personality Nick Young was. How does Nick Young compare to the guys you coach today?
Nick was a little handful because he liked to have fun more than anything else. He just really liked to have fun. So just trying to keep him, on the straight and narrow all the time, and being disciplined, I think was the hardest battle for me, because talent wise, I think probably still to this day, Nick is the most gifted scorer that I've ever coached. So his ability to score was easy. It was fun to watch. But it was the other parts of the game, the defensive side of it, the passing, the understanding, when to shoot the ball, when not to shoot the ball, that I think made me a better coach. So being able to coach Nick actually is what prepared me to be able to deal with these elite players that I deal with today. So every experience that I have with a player, with a parent, it always prepares me to deal with the new kids that are coming in, and have a story to tell of how another player did something or was just like them, and they made a shift or a transition, and it turned out to be good for them. So when you have other great players that you've coached, it's easier for you to tell the new great player, this is what you should do and how, because we're just trying to make you a great player, and push you to your highest level.
So you obviously also coached LeBron's son, Bronny. What was your reaction like when you found that he was coming to Sierra Canyon? There's a lot of expectation on him, as a person, considering who his dad is. And I've had very limited interaction with him. We follow each other on social, but he's a super down-to-earth kid, I've heard, just not who you would expect him to be. So tell us a little bit about Bronny. He doesn't post much on social media, which makes perfect sense. But just in general, him.
Yeah, Bronny is a wonderful kid. He's a great basketball player. I didn't have, when he was coming, to me, he was just another young man that I had an opportunity to mentor. And so, I was looking at it like that, because, as I have coached, prior to Bronny coming, I've coached several kids of NBA players, starting with KJ. And so to me, I just wanted the opportunity to be able to teach him, mold him, mentor him, and try to make him into, a great basketball player and a great man. So I didn't really feel any pressure with him coming, but the hype and the media that was around him was and is a big deal, and he is able to handle it as gracefully as I've ever seen a young person be able to deal with the attention that he's getting. He always is trying to play it down, and just be a kid, and that's what I love the most about him. There's no arrogance, there's no ego. He just wants to be himself, and try to get better every day.
Now, Coach, I've been to your games recently. This past season, I think I made it to about 5. And every time I go in there, there's, Instagram models, celebrities, Drake, Michael B. Jordan, different rappers. How did you ever see this happening when Bronny first committed, or even when you ever started coaching at Sierra Canyon, that your games would be this big? Because honestly, to me, your games are more fun than the Laker games. You never know who you might see in there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't think that in my wildest imagination I could ever like see what's happening with us today. It started a little bit before Bronny actually got there with KJ Martin and Scottie Pippen Jr. and Cassius Stanley. We started to get quite a bit of a following then, but nothing to this magnitude. And I don't know half of the rappers that's in the stand, so I don't even know who's there until I see like social media and they'll post like this is who this is and this is who that is. I really just try to keep my head down and coach the guys. But we intentionally let the cameras come in and kind of gave the kids what they wanted to have and to experience with building their own brands. And so it was intentional to bring the cameras in and try to like create this level of attention for them because I kind of thought that this is what the new age player will be looking for. But never did I think it was going to get to this where we have documentaries and, there's a camera or a video camera or a microphone around us or on us 24 hours a day. No, it's crazy. And I just try to take it with a grain of salt and keep winning because that's the most important thing for me.
Coach Dre, I've seen that Uninterrupted has been following you guys. And, what is it like having that camera crew on you everywhere, on your players? And has it affected your coaching style at all?
It has not affected my coaching style. Probably, unfortunately, sometimes I forget I have that mic on because I'm so locked into, creating a great program and great players. It's fun. It's also annoying at times because they are constantly in your space and in your face. And even when I don't want to put a mic on, there's a mic over top of my head picking up everything that I say anyway. So it's tough. But I think at the end of the day, like I want people to see who we are and what we do because we are much more than simply a basketball program. We really are trying to teach young men how to have tough conversations, how to navigate life, and how to deal with, the issues that they have on a daily basis, whether that's mental health, whether it's dealing with a girlfriend. Those things come up, with the young men, and we try to navigate those things and handle them at a high level. And so I think it's important for young players and parents to see that this is the reality of life. So all in all, it's wonderful, but don't get me wrong, it gets on my nerves sometimes too.
With all the cameras, there's so many eyes on your players and they really have turned into real life celebrities with social media. How do you manage all of it and, try not to let your players, get a big head and get distracted when they have so much attention on them at such a young age?
I'm a truth teller. So I'm gonna tell you the truth, whether you got a camera on you or not. And so I think that makes it real easy for me because I'm not a celebrity. I'm not in search of the camera. I could care less if that camera gets me or not. But I am going to tell them the truth. If they're distracted by the camera, if they're looking for something to post on their social media instead of making the right play, I'm going to say that to them. And it gets me in trouble sometimes, but it's very important that not just my players, but everybody has somebody in their life that will tell them the truth. Because some of these kids are not getting the truth told to them by social media, by the people who handle the 5 stars and the 4 stars. They're not always telling them truth. And I want to make sure that I'm always telling them the truth so that they can navigate the truth and, kind of be prepared for life because the truth is going to be presented to you one way or the other. And so that's how I navigate everything.
Coach, last year you lost a few transfers and dealt with injuries most of the season. You relied heavily on Amari, Bailey, and Ramel Lloyd Jr. Even with the championship pedigree, you guys unfortunately came short. What are some things you guys are working on this offseason to get back to that championship in California?
One, as you said, we have to stay healthy. The years prior to last year, we were fortunate enough to not deal with any major injuries, especially during playoff time. So we have to make sure that our kids' bodies are healthy, that they're lifting at a level that is, going to sustain them but not hurt them. And KJ, we got to keep the talent on the floor because, at the level that we play, Amari can't do it by himself. He and Ramel can't do it by themselves. We need all bullets in the gun. And last year we didn't have all the bullets in the gun. And so we have to get strong and stay healthy. And we have to continue to, improve our skill level and definitely improve our IQ and understanding of the game. We are lucky that we returned probably 13 of the 15 players from last year. And we were able to add 2 or 3 players that are going to improve our talent level and size. And so, I'm excited about, what we can do this year. I'm excited to see, the steps that Bronny can take this year because, he's going to play a lot more point for us. And I think that's going to help us and help him. So I'm excited to see, if we can stay healthy and grow what we're capable of this year. We've been blessed to win some state titles, but we're trying to take the next step and be considered the national champion. And so for us to do that, we definitely got to get bigger, stronger, and faster, and be more committed to studying film and understanding the game. Film these days is very important at the level that we play at, and I have to get our guys more locked into valuing and watching film as much as possible.
So we've all seen the new legislation that the NCAA has passed that allows players to profit off their name, image, and likeness. And you have a couple of players on your team who have already signed major deals. And with that being said, how do you feel about the new rule change, and what are your concerns, if any?
I think that the kids deserve to get paid for playing. I think that the NCAA and other entities have made millions and billions of dollars off them for years. So I'm happy that they're able to do that. I think, I was on the Gilbert Arenas podcast a while ago, and I said that the high school game is going to quickly become the college game. I didn't realize it was going to come so fast with the NIL stuff, coming into play. But kids are becoming pros so much earlier these days. So I think that the high school game is going to be vitally important. Building programs that are like the university programs is going to be vitally important. And so this NIL thing for California, especially because, California allows the high school players to use their name, image, and likeness as well. It's just going to give us, the experience that we need to know how to handle it and to advise them. So they're not making mistakes or doing something that's going to be detrimental to them down the line.
Coach, last question, maybe the most important one. Out of all the players you coach, who would be in your all-time starting top 5? Your top 5 point guard through center. Mind you, my freshman year I was a combo guard, so I could play either the point or the 2.
KJ, it's impossible for me to say, but you're definitely in a lineup somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna put you, but your ability to shoot it's always good to have a shooter on the floor. But yeah, I think that it's impossible for you to gauge who the top 5 is. I think even at Sierra Canyon, they have that discussion all the time in the administration, like who's the top 5 people that ever played at Sierra Canyon. It's impossible to say. I have been blessed to coach some amazing players, some amazing people. And so to me, everybody's in the starting lineup in some way or another. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Political answer.
That's the right answer.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Coach. We appreciate your time and wish you good luck this season. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode with Coach Dre, please leave us a like, a review, and please subscribe. Thanks again, Coach.
Yes. Have a great day, fellas. Thank you.